Hi, welcome to the channel today. Today we're going to be planting out the rest of the squash and planting out the watermelon transplants. I did kind of get a little late on it because it got cold the last couple of days, so I kind of waited to plant them, and then yesterday I went ahead and tilled this up or used a wheel hoe on it. The reason being, with watermelons, you do not want to have any weeds started because you're going to have a weed problem later and you don't want it to take over. So I've already planted. These was I planted the other day. That's the Jumbochi squash. That's the 8-ball. I forget which one that one is. And another one. So now this is about 2 foot long, and really that's about all I'm going to plant them apart. So I am using this seed tray from Burpee. And so you can see the roots go through it pretty easy. This here is going to be the moonbeam. And a good thing. Let's see that. Try to just gently take all the roots out of it. Take the knife, dig me a nice hole, and put it in there. Don't want to mess with the roots any more than you have to. And of course, once I get through here after filming, I will go in here and I'll water this in. I'll go with the next one. Set it down. Now the biggest problem that you have with squash in this area, in Texas anyway, is, here, put some water in it. It's a the squash vine borer. And the bad thing about it gets inside the stem of the plant, and once it gets inside the stem, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, this is multi-pick. It does not want to come out very easy. This is this one. So, I know growing up, the squash would start dying. We get all the, what's called squash bugs, and they hit the outside. And my mom, and before internet, she didn't know any better. She would take a bunch of 7 dust and coat the plants with it because her plants were dying, and she was thinking it was the squash bugs because that was what was eating the plants. But in reality, it was a squash vine borer, and you can put all the 7 dust you want to on it. You're never going to kill that squash vine borer because he's protected inside the plant. So, and she didn't even say, well, I'm going to put this 7 dust. I doubt if do any good. They die anyway. She never was able to put it together that wasn't what was causing her the problem. So I think it's a good thing they advented with the internet, so you can kind of look up. So if you were wondering about the squash vine borer, just look it up on the internet and they'll tell you all about it. Now these plants here, like I said, they got bigger than I wanted them to. Not a whole lot, because you don't want these roots to be messed with any more than you have to. I'm going to plant them inside here. And the good thing about this, if there's a worm or something come in, it's a little bit big for them to be able to eat it and take it to the ground like that there. So that's what I did yesterday. That's the worms that it's dead because I plowed it up. And I know a lot of people will gripe about plowing, say you should never plow or till your garden. And then they gripe about the squash vine borer, which is where it comes from. It comes from the ground. And when you don't plow it, you don't kill them. And, did we plow too much in the old days? Yeah. But to me, no plowing, at least in Texas, it's just not a very good. And when they actually talk about no-till, and I've always thought it was funny because people say, oh, I'm a no-dig gardener. And then they pour out the hori-hori knife and start digging a hole. And I know what they mean. But if you're a new gardener and they say, no dig, and say, well, I can't dig a hole. Even what I did the other day, when I tilled this stuff up, what I call till this stuff up, they said it's still no dig because I only went down, an inch or two. and I didn't shatter the ground. But if you're a new gardener, you think, well, I don't want to dig at all. And yeah, we don't want to go through here and take a tiller and run that tiller through this garden every week, getting rid of all the weeds. That's not a good idea. But we do have to do a little bit of cultivation. Just like I say, when I cultivated this, it killed all the weeds. It killed that worm. So it's not all bad. And there's one YouTuber who's saying, we just using bad nomenclature, saying no dig, and then like I say, people maybe not as experienced just don't realize that no dig doesn't mean you never dig in your garden. And a much more apt, more accurate term would be reduced dig or reduced till. And in ag, it's what a lot of times they call it reduced till. In fact, people that do the no-till method in ag usually use a lot of Roundup because there's no way to kill the weeds. So they use Roundup. And because what they'll do is they'll plant a cover crop. Well, how do you terminate the cover crop? The easiest way for a lot of it is just to spray Roundup. So, just one of those things that a lot of people don't think about. I'm trying to make time. I'm not trying to make anybody upset. Your garden, you do whatever you want to in your garden. But just trying to explain, some things, the words themselves don't always mean exactly what people do in practice. Now, a lot of people, and I have in the past, like to go in here and just seed these things. The reason you want to put these watermelons like this, I think I started about 3 weeks ago. You can go back in the video. I did make a video in it, so if you're really curious. As I put up the video either that day or the next day. So when I actually put them in the trays. And you do get a little bit of a jump. Because if I was going to plant seeds today, it would take about 3 weeks for the things to get this size. The other thing, if you was doing if I was doing the seedless watermelons, which seedless watermelons are very hard to get to grow. They're not for the novice gardener. So grow the seedless ones for a while till you figure it out, because they're hard to get them to germinate. And you also have to have another one's a seed, you have to have pollinator seed with them, which I put those in the pack. But it's just, I knew one guy's an experienced gardener, was from Haas Tools, and he said he got 60% germination on his seedless watermelons in a tray, and he was happy about it. He said that was pretty good germination. And it was kind of sad in the fact he said, we're talking about not selling the seeds for seedless watermelons anymore because people keep complaining about germination, not realizing that, there's a lot that goes into getting them to germinate right. Now, the professionals can get a germination rate of 95%, but they measure everything. It's a business for them. And so they'd even use warm water. They have water that's when they have to water any. They said the main thing is once you get the watermelons into the watermelon seeds into the tray, you never water them. You also don't do that either. See, that's why I don't like this. So I've lost all these roots. That thing's probably worthless. I'm going to plant it anyway because I'm at the end of the row. And like I say, this year, I'm trying it. Trying to see if this will do good with the watermelons. If it doesn't work, I still got some seed. I'm going to put it on right here. Why? Because I got the seeds. That one doesn't look right, so I'm not going to plant that one. This one's not much better than the other one. But anyway, that's me planting those. Now let's go take a look over at the beans. I think they were coming up. You can see the corn is coming up right there. It looks okay. There's a few skips in it, but you're never going to get a perfect stand. This fig here still has not sprouted out, so I don't know if it's going to make it or not. This one's coming out, so it's made it. And I don't think the other day I really showed the potatoes. Potatoes are doing really good. I mean, they're knee high. You're on the raised bed. But, you know, they're looking good. I did throw a little bit of fertilizer in it the other day. We do got a deer that's coming here. He ran here the other day. And the beans, these were the three. Let me see. That was a pinto, that was pinto, and I believe these, well, I don't remember. And the bad thing about the video didn't show but the first row. The last two rows was improved pinto. So this first two rows was the pintos, regular pintos. This row was one of the other ones, the snap beans. So it came up good, and these other three rows hadn't come up yet, so 4 rows. So we're going to see if these rows don't come up pretty soon. I'm going to replant those, but I'll give them another. Well, I see one way down there. No, that's off to the side. But anyway, I'll give it a chance, see what happens. I do see a few coming up. Okay, I'm starting to see some on this row here. So just got to give them time. They look a lot closer than what I planted the seeds on, but I can always send them out. And just take a quick walk over here. See the tomato plants. They're doing really well. Plum trees are doing good. I only sprayed them once. I've not sprayed them for the plum cucurio yet. And they're getting pretty good size. They also got something that's been biting on them. I don't think that's a plum cucurio. Do you see some? They're a little bit harder to find right now. They come back in here. There's 3 of them right there. So, but the days aren't warm in the mornings like they were, so I'm waiting to actually put out the mouth-on to kill the plum cucurio. I don't think they've come out yet, so it's a good thing I didn't spray. Something else is biting on them. I guess I might have got that, but I think that's stink bugs, things of that nature. Here are the tomato plants. We'll take one walk through here. Almost time to put another trellis up. Sometimes you'll miss a limb like this, and what you do is you try to pull it up if you can and get it back in the trellis, but may not be able to. But they're all doing really well. Got some pretty good size. There's a pretty good sized tomato right there, you know, for early in the year. I am doing a quick look. Okay, we got it too right here. That is a tomato worm. Okay, so this guy's gonna die. So if you don't want to see a tomato worm die, and that's when you spray. Hopefully he didn't bite the other ones. And that's what I'm kind of looking for. Can I find any of these? I might come through here tomorrow, since I'm seeing him, and spray BT on all of them, because that's pretty mild, and trying to stay ahead of the worms. Again, I don't like spraying preventive. Our paste tomatoes are doing well. I wish I planted them a little closer together so they could lean against each other. I actually like doing the determinants. The only thing about paste tomatoes that I've noticed, you come on up around here, is they're harder to trellis up. Now, these cherry tomatoes are in cages. Good thing about cages, you put them over it, you're done, kind of. But then what you're going to see is they're going to sprawl out. So when you see them like this, you just need to push them back in, and then they're still back in the trellis, inside the cage. Push that one back in, and then you'll get ones like this, and that's when you got problems. Is this guy here, because he's outside of it. So what I'll probably have to do is try to weave him back around and come back inside. But it's good to come out every day like this in here. Nothing's really happened yet, but I can still work these things in and try to keep them growing inside. Same thing with this one. He's not bad yet, but go ahead and get him growing inside. And if you do that every day, it really helps. I missed yesterday because I had stuff at work. I had a contest that they had for the 4-H kids, and I was tired yesterday. But and these cages should have more deals on it. They broke off. But anyway, that's the downside of cages, is you just need to keep after them and try to keep these things growing inside. The cages don't spoil outside of them, or you know, it isn't doing any good. And then we'll go up here and take a quick look at the blackberries and the other squash and peppers I planted up here. And like I say, these here are the poncas, and they're now blooming out really well. It does have a grapevine I've got to cut back. I planted a trellis of black grapes, and I never have taken care of them. These over here are the sweetie pies. They've got the pink blooms on them, so I do have one of them that survived. And there's one turning pink over there. Now that's going to be a dewberry. The main difference on a dewberry and a blackberry is normally blackberries tend to stand straight up, dewberries run along the ground. So your blackberries tend to be erect, your dewberries tend to run on the ground. That's not completely true. Dewberries and blackberries are two separate ones. You can have blackberries that trail along the ground too. I don't know of any erect dewberries, but they do have some trailing blackberries. So most things you see out in the wild, they're going to call dewberries. I say that, and this one here's got the pink blooms on it too. But this here is the Primark Freedom. Like I say, you're already getting pretty good size here. And they'll get probably 3 times that size. And then over here, the Trombonchi squash is really starting to take off there on those two. And there the peppers are. The peppers haven't done much, but it got cold, so it's going to stun them down for a little bit. And hopefully they come out of it pretty well. I did try to plant these a little closer together so they can kind of support each other. And I may go up there and take some stakes. These stakes here, stick them in the ground beside it. Take those little clips that you got for tomatoes and just clip them on there because your peppers tend to want to fall over. So sometimes you just need to support them. But anyway, that's the quick review of the garden. And for the in-ground garden, I'll do the one for the container garden later. But thanks for watching. See you next time.